transition from.
That will begin in Sierra Leone, where a state funeral service has been held for the police officers killed during the August 10 violent anti-government protest in Freetown and northern parts of the West African country. The 6 police officers were murdered during the deadly protest that received local and international condemnation. The funeral service was attended by President Julius Maada Bio and other government officials. Just last week, Vice President Julde Jallo declared the creation of a special fund for education and social needs of the children and beneficiaries of those victims of the terror attacks. Mohamed Swaray, Sierra Leone's Information and Communications Minister, joins me now to take a look at the fallout of the August 10 violent anti-government protests. Good to see you, Minister Swaray. Now, the unfortunate incidents of August 10 have continued to stay on in the front burner of Sierra Leone's public space. Now, what's the government doing to avert such from happening again?
And so today was a very somber occasion. It was a very sad day. The country went to honor the memory and service of the fallen officers who were hacked to death, who were killed in broad daylight by very bloody insurrectionists on August 10th. So as government, we are committed to ensuring that never again. You remember Sierra Leone has had a fair share of very unfortunate moments. We had a very debilitating 11-year civil war. We have transitioned from that war past to now consolidating peace, then this. So government is determined to ensure that it doesn't happen again. In the last couple of days following this, His Excellency, Dr. Julius Maada Bio has been holding high-level engagements with salient stakeholders in the community, in the society. He has met with the Interreligious Council, which is a conglomeration of all religious, all faith-based groups in the country. He has met with civil society and the media. He's also met with the Council of Tribal Headmen and many others. This is work in progress. But basically, this is continuing something that has been done before now. To reduce the August 10th insurrection to a cost of living fallout is far from the real issues on ground. Like I mentioned in the previous program, Sierra Leone is far bigger than Eastern Freetown, Makeni, Kamakwe, and parts of Poloko where these violent insurrections happened. Sierra Leone is a lot bigger than that. So we are saying this must have been well-funded, well-lubricated, and carefully choreographed and properly unleashed.
Let me jump in here, Minister Swaray. Let me jump in here. Protests are legitimate means of registering an objection to government policies. What steps did the government take before this went out of hand?
Well, so President Bio's government has been one of the most liberal in the history of our country. When he became president in 2018, he took bold and audacious steps, for example, to repeal a 55-year-old criminal libel law, which successive governments had shied away from doing. Even though he was the most ridiculed, he was the most castigated, he was the most lampooned presidential candidate, but he still saw a lot of value in the media and he decriminalized libel. Again, under his watch, he's been able, against a lot of public reservations, against a lot of skepticism, been able to repeal, to abolish the death penalty. And he has already moved on ensuring that he empowers women. There is a 30% voter representation bill in Parliament, which when passed will ensure that women get 30% of all elective positions in the country. Again, he has been able to grant the franchise to those with dual citizenship, something which hitherto before now was not the case. So in terms of opening up the democratic space, in terms of liberal democratic tendencies, President Bio has has done more than any other leader. And
if that's the case, you know, away from condemnation about the murder of these 6 police officers, has the government been able to identify the culprits?
Well, so government is the security forces are investigating the matter. Government has promised a full-scale investigation into the matter. So in coming days and weeks, we will be able to brief the public as to who we have in the net, what questions they have to answer, and the matter will be duly charged to court. Like His Excellency has mentioned in previous engagements, we will, as a government, ensure that anybody who had anything, even if remotely, to do with the bloody insurrection of August 10 will be made to face the fullest force of the law. This is a country of law and order.
And talking about anybody, Minister Swaray, apologies for butting in there, talking about anybody.
No worries, no worries.
They're talking about anybody. Some are saying that others were killed. Some other Sierra Leoneans, apart from these 6 police officers, were also killed. Is the government reaching out to families of the deceased?
Of course, the president made that clear today. Anybody who died during the bloody insurrection is a Sierra Leonean, and therefore will accord their due dignified burials, right? He made that very clear. And in the last couple of days, the Ministry of Internal Affairs has issued out a public statement calling on all families who lost loved ones in the insurrection to come to the central mortuary and identify their loved ones. You know, after that, government will be taking steps to determine what form of burial and how it will be carried out. So the next steps will be there. So yes, every Sierra Leonean life matters, which is why government
and the opposition members are also speaking at this point in time. They are accusing President Bio of using the August 10 incident to repress and also arrest some of them.
Nobody has been unduly arrested, but the president has committed to following he has directed the security forces to follow the evidence wherever it leads to. So if it leads to opposition elements, so be it. But when we pursue matters like this, we are not looking at politics, we are not looking at ethno-regional sentiments, we are not looking at party colors, we are concerned about the evidence. If it's only opposition supporters that were involved in the insurrections, the evidence leads there, we will not hesitate to take the appropriate actions.
And Mohamed Swaray, before I let you go, the talk of having investors come into Sierra Leone is still on the front burner. What is your government doing to restore investors' confidence, especially as the country prepares for the next polls?
This is exactly one of the main reasons why government is very concerned. Sierra Leone had such a battered and shattered image before President Bio took over. He has been able to rekindle trust and confidence in this country. By the time he took over in April 2018, all international development partners had pulled out, including the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. When we came in, that was a breath of fresh air. We were able to rekindle trust and confidence. They came back in a record 3 months. We were brought back on program, and we have had a lot of support since then. Sierra Leone, because of our vast natural resources, our huge arable land and pristine sand beaches, has been able to attract a lot of tourism. We had increased tourist arrivals before COVID struck. So we want to return to that A game, and which is why this is unfortunate. We tell the youth, my message to the youth has always been, yes, we are grappling with a huge youth unemployment challenge. We want to be able to create jobs for young people, and government alone cannot do it. It's only the private sector that can support us create the much needed jobs for young people. So we say to the youth, when we participate in bloody insurrections like August 10, when we dismantle the edifice of peace, stability, and security, no investor is going to trust investing in your country. Similarly, no tourist will come to a destination that is not safe, that is not stable. So it's in the best interest of all Sierra Leoneans for us to keep the peace. His Excellency, during his speech today, noted that politicians without a message are taking undue advantage of the global economic situation to misinform young people to take up arms against a legally constituted government.
Mohammed Swaray, I'm afraid we have to go. Mohammed Swaray, many thanks for speaking with our Sierra Leone's Information and Communications Minister. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.